That wasn't the plan. Hi, Courtney.
Well, hey, girl.
How's it going?
It's good. Your lips
Yeah?
are popping, per the
Oh.
use.
Per the usual.
Yeah.
How was your week?
Good. Busy, you know.
Yeah, mine just got really busy last night, so
Oh.
got a lot of stuff going on, and
Oh, really?
I agreed to take this post-producing job that I don't normally post-produce, but
Yeah.
I have in the past. It's not really in my wheelhouse, so I'm kinda just panicked about that.
Oh, gosh. You got this. Come on.
I know, I'm like, "Fake it till you make it," right?
Exactly. And when I learned one of the most crucial lessons I ever learned working in the entertainment industry, especially post-production and production, was that everybody acts like they know exactly what's going on, and nobody knows what's going on. And nobody knows, like, when I had to, it just was such a, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody just acts like they know what's up.
Oh, all the time. All the time. I mean, I've been doing this now. I've been doing live action production, which is, when you're on set and you film
Right.
all of that. I don't really do post-production except from time to time. So I've been doing that for like 23 years, but post-production, it's similar, but it's different. It's different terminology and
Well,
workflow
and
and all of that.
I was only the client service person. And then when the executive producer quit suddenly, they were like, Courtney, you think you can do this? And I'm like, yes, I do. I was like, we'll see how it goes. And
Yeah.
it was really a very eye-opening, very good education. I did my best and thought I was killing it, but I really wasn't. But yeah, all the producers that would come in, and sometimes they have the voice actors there, and yeah. It's just weird.
Lovely. Well, that
Everybody's
wasn't the plan.
It wasn't. Then they fired me. Yeah, they had to fire me, which was understandable. They brought in a new executive producer, and her and I were not meshing, and which is weird because I could pretty much get along with anybody, but it was just a bad situation. Anyway, long story short, that
Here
wasn't
we
the
are.
plan. Here
That
we
wasn't
are.
the plan. Well, welcome to That Wasn't the Plan.
Hey, thanks.
This is
Welcome.
episode 2.
Woohoo! You did it. You did
Yeah,
it.
I know. And today we are discussing platonic friendships and when they end. And when I say platonic, that doesn't mean that you don't absolutely love that person.
For
It
sure.
just
Fall in
means
love with a friend, for sure.
it just means it's not sexual or romantic in any way.
Right.
I know that both of us separately have gone through quote unquote friendship divorces, and we actually had one ourselves, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, it was about that. We became friends.
2004?
Yeah, 2004. I think I'd been in LA for about a year. And then we were steadfast. We were like hooked at the hip.
Yeah. We were buds.
Yeah, thick and thin. And then it was a few summers because didn't we do Coachella twice together?
We sure did.
So I think it must have been about 3-ish years,
Yeah.
3 or 4 years after we met that we had an implosion. And that was our death. We did not talk.
No. I'm trying to remember, like, honestly, all I remember is that, I fucked around and found out about, like, my alcoholism and drug use was really prominent, and I put us in some pretty shady situations. And so I don't really remember the catalyst for it. I just do
Yeah.
that we just stopped talking. I think that's really when my life was kind of like the flames were flying, the plane was coming down. So
Right. Yeah. I don't really recall the catalyst either. Although I do remember one evening we were at a bar in Venice or Santa Monica, and I was with who I had just started seeing then. This was after we had met those dudes on Sunset Boulevard at, where were we? The Key Club or the Viper Room?
that was the night I lost my keys in my wallet.
Uh-huh. And we were
And-
stranded at like 2 a.m. on Sunset Boulevard
We
with
were.
this is like kind of we had cell phones, but there wasn't a smartphone, so
No.
none of that existed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember
Do you
this. Yeah.
remember that? And we went our separate ways.
We even held hands and looked at each other and were like,
Yep.
"Is this a bad idea?
Yeah.
No, I think we're okay."
Uh-huh.
We were trying to be, and I was like, "It's okay. I don't have my car keys. I don't have my phone. I don't have my wallet." And
Yeah.
I was like, "But I'm just gonna go home with these guys who are
Yeah.
being from New Jersey, and they're staying at a hotel in West Hollywood."
And I was like, I don't trust those guys. I don't want to go to that hotel in West Hollywood. And up walked these like 2 or 3 other guys, and they were like, "Ladies, are you okay?" And one of them had an accent, Tasmanian, Australian accent,
Right.
and he was like, "Oh, I don't want to leave you till you guys are okay." And lo and behold, he was
He's going to
an
school, like,
internet yeah, he was going to school at UCLA. He was getting, I think, finishing up his bachelor's or master's degree, but I remember he was the first, Tasmanian student to go to UCLA.
wow.
You're like, "I'm gonna go with these guys to their hotel," and I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna go with these guys back to the dorm room at UCLA."
Yours sounds safer, to be honest. Like, but correct me if I am wrong. Was he wearing a jacket that was very reminiscent of like Sergeant Pepper, Beatles?
Very, very likely. Yes.
It was
Yeah.
like, I just remember it had I don't, and buttons, and he
Yeah.
seemed really nice,
He was
honestly.
a very nice guy,
He
and
was
unfortunately, like, I remember that, I went home with him that night, and then the next morning, I was like, "Well, can we stay in touch?" And he's like, I think it must have been a Friday or Saturday night when all this happened, and he said
It was
to
a
me,
Saturday
he
night, yeah.
said, "Come Monday, I am moving to New York for either my master's or PhD program to NYU." And that was it, because it was one of those brief encounters in life where you meet somebody and you're like, "Wow, this could
Could
actually
be
be
something great.
something." And then he just left. But I think, like, to circle back, that was kind of the beginning of us separating ways because of alcohol or drugs. And then back to me being at a bar with, and you were there. I remember you falling asleep on the bar, and
I
I
was
did
there.
a really shitty thing. I said, "Here are your keys."
Mhm.
Because that guy that you had met, I think, was back in town, it was a
It was
guy that you
Jack.
met at
No, it
Coachella.
was nope. It was, Reggie's friend that I was
Oh,
hooking up with, 'cause then you put me in a cab
yeah.
and
And
sent
I
me
said,
to
"Here are your
Southeast.
keys. Your car is gonna expire at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning." And you said, "I remember," or when Jack came in, I told him as well,
He
and he
didn't come
took
in. You put me
Oh,
in a cab,
okay, I put you in a cab.
and Jack was like,
Um,
"Don't send her if she's blackout drunk," and you're like, "Okay." And then I arrived, and I remember it, so I wasn't totally blacked out, 'cause I remember when the cab driver was like, I was like, "Do I need to pay you?" They were like, uh-huh. So I was like, "We go by an ATM." So they took me to an ATM. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
but what were you supposed to do? Babysit my drunk tush? Like, come
Well,
on.
so then I remember vaguely, and I'm not exactly sure if this is how it happened, but the next day, either your car got ticketed or towed.
It got towed, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go back to that area until 2 days later,
Yeah,
'cause I
that's
stayed in
right.
South Bay with
That's
Reggie.
right.
So
And that was it. That was, I think, the catalyst. Me doing a shitty thing by kind of just being like, "Here's my friend who's she's drunk. I'm not taking care of her. I'm handing her off to somebody else, and I'm gonna go do my own thing."
I remember correctly, that was also the night that I was driving us and I almost got us in a wreck. And so you were like, "I'm not comfortable with you driving." So you had to drive, which I think you were pissed about because you'd also been drinking and I was supposed to be the DD.
Mm.
So then you were pissed. I mean, you rightfully so were annoyed at my everything, which I would have been annoyed at my everything. So what I remember is I went to South Bay, stayed there for 2 days, just being in South Bay with Reggie and her party friends. And then Jack brought me back to Santa Monica and my car was gone. And then I called you. Well, first Jack dropped me off. He was like, "I can't deal with this right now. Sorry." And I was like, so I called you to see if you could help and you couldn't. You were in the middle of something. So I was like, holy crap. Like, consequences of my actions. So Elijah ended up having to come all the way to Santa Monica from Los Feliz. Bought me a new dress because I'd been wearing the same clothes for 2 days. Took me to work.
What a
Bless his-
guy.
He had to save me a couple of times. The night that we were talking about where we were in West Hollywood, you went off with Sergeant Pepper, and I went off with these dorks from New Jersey, and I didn't sleep with them, by the way. I just feel like that is important to share. They were terrible people, but,
Oh,
I
I did sleep with that guy.
see, I
In the
think the
dorm
problem
room,
we
and
have
his roommate was there.
okay,
Mhm,
he was
mhm,
wearing a
not one
really
of
nice
my finer moments.
I mean, but he turned out to be such a nice dude. These guys were not nice people, and, the next morning, the one I hooked up with, they just ignored me, and I
Oh,
called Elijah, and I was like, "Elijah, I need you to come get me right now." So, I was like, "Well, he's on his way," and they're like, "Well, they know what hotel you're at, right?" And I was like, "Okay." So, I just walked out the door, and I was devastated. No one had ever treated me like that. So then I get outside, and I'm waiting for Elijah, and I'm crying. I don't have keys. I don't have a phone. I don't have money. So the first thing he does when he picks me up, he pulls over to a gas station. He goes inside, and he buys me a vitamin water and some cigarettes. It was very sweet, but he had to be done eventually too. He got over it pretty quick.
ye yeah.
Um, but
Oh, yeah.
that's alcoholism for you. You burn through your peeps. So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, anytime you get drunk or messed up on drugs,
right.
and yeah,
It's
there's
bad.
always consequences,
And
always.
then, unfortunately, a lot of times people that love you end up getting you through those consequences because they love you. But then that ends up keeping me hovering over my bottom before I actually hit the floor, you know?
Right,
'Cause people,
yeah,
of course, you want to help. Like I would help. Like that's what our instinct is. But eventually, people were wising up, and I stopped asking for help. I stopped communicating about what was going on because I was so embarrassed. I was like, how can I not get a handle on this? Repeatedly making horrible decisions, and then the next day being like, I'll never do that again. And then I'd be drunk or stoned or whatever another night later. So
So yeah, like did you have mutual friends with, just say your friend group, and then slowly somebody just was maybe kind of ghosting you and eventually just left your life, but you still had mutual friends that you were talking to, or did they slowly kind of walk out the door as well? And I'm like back to kind of just maybe a friend group in LA.
yeah.
Um
Well, I've actually had it happen here in
oh,
my sobriety, in my
uh,
recovery.
okay.
I met a new gal, she moved to town. I just fell madly in love. Like we were just cut from the same cloth. She was a hoot. She's sporty, which I'm not. I want to be sporty, and so I just was like, wow.
You're
So and she just,
sporty.
I mean, not as sporty as she's like a basketball. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, like legit. And so she,
but
yes, of
you're an
course.
improv dancer.
I'm an improvisational dancer. I'm an improvisational stripper. That's really
There
what I
you
wanted
go.
to do. I
Actually, yeah,
wanted to just
that's
do
more
very
accurate.
powerful modern dance pieces at the strip clubs, and nobody wanted to watch, which I think is garbage. Anyway, but
With
yeah,
your jazz hands.
yeah, and no top. Um, so she and I became just fast friends, and then it was through the pandemic. And I mean, we were like, I was super close with her husband, and they have a son who was 4 at the time, or 3 or 4. Anyhow, we were friends for years. And then there was some stuff that was going down with her that I would notice. Sometimes there would be some innuendos about wanting to hook up with me. And I would always be like, it's like my sister saying something like that to me. So I say that just because eventually she just started being super mean to me. And then eventually she just told me, I get so much out of all my friendships, and I'm not getting anything out of this friendship. And I was crushed. I was like,
Oh.
okay. And I was having a bunch of dental surgeries at the time. It was just, I was, in the valley, how life goes. And anyhow, she like no contact me, and we have the same group of recovery people. So she's still acting totally normal with everybody else, but just completely iced me out. And it broke my heart.
She
And
didn't give you really any reason, or there wasn't a moment where
her, her reasoning was that she wasn't getting anything out of our friendship. And
then that's it.
yeah. And it was pretty devastating. I mean, we've been friends for years. And so what ended up it being was a pretty complicated scenario. She said that she was jealous of my family, my parents, because she got really close with my parents. And so she said she was really jealous of that, and it was coming out sideways. And it seems to be her pattern to get very, very close to somebody, females usually, and then kind of just pivot and drop. So I've seen it happen multiple times now. She reaches out to me pretty regularly, just being like, I'm thinking about you. And I'm just like, Yeah, I love her husband, who they're now getting a divorce, and she's in a relationship with a woman. So it seems to be a pattern with her, and I didn't see it for the first couple of years, but all my friends remained my friends. Nobody backed out. So
S Did she ever try to contact your family, or did you try and, like, maintain relationships with her son or friendship, or did that just immediately end as well?
her son, who is autistic, we're on the spectrum. I adored. I loved him. And then suddenly didn't see him for months and months and months. It was too painful. I was like, I'm not interested. And her husband, I communicate with every now and again. They are currently going through divorce, which I don't know
Yeah.
the details of it. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that was that. I would say that is the most painful breakup, friendship wise, because I was so confused. She works a great program. She walks the walk, talks the talk. She's, you know, all AA, all like recovery based, and doing all this work on herself. And I was like, it has to be me. What am I doing wrong? Like, what have I done that? Oh, it made me. I mean, I was like 40, and I was like, am I not a good friend? So I would like go to my other friends and be like, am I not a good friend? They're like, you're a great friend. I was like, okay,
You are a good friend.
thank you.
Yeah, you're a very
Sometimes
good friend.
we're all good friends and bad friends. It happens.
It's true. We can have our moments when we're shitty friends, and
Yeah,
then other times when we just step up and we're really good friends. We all
absolutely.
have shit going on in our own lives that, you never know the day that somebody has had or what
Yeah,
they're going through in that moment, and it can make them lash out in the moment or say
yeah,
something really mean. They don't mean it. I think it takes a lot to be actively mean and spiteful towards somebody.
for
I think
sure.
a lot of these friendships end because you didn't have a conversation around what somebody was going through in the moment, and somebody read it the wrong way or took it the wrong way, and then you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the worst thing. And so anytime she reaches out, do you ever feel like a wound has been open, or are you just kind of over it at this point?
Oh, I'm over it, yeah.
Okay.
I'm I had my shower, a couple weeks ago, and I did invite her just because I'm a nice person, and I knew and we're totally, like, cordial, like, hugs and, like, we have gone out to lunch here and once in a while, but honestly, I'm just not interested, like, it just
Yeah.
not interested. No hatred in my heart, like, no anger, no just yeah,
So, like, when you do meet new people and you're like, "Oh, I think I could really like this person," are you more guarded or more grateful, like, that somebody new has come into your life?
Oh, more grateful for sure.
Nice.
I don't feel like I'm guarded at all anymore, which is wonderful. Another gift of recovery where I'm just like, this is me. Do you like it? Cool. If not, cool. Like it's good. I can handle it because I am the number one fan in my own fan club.
You
I
are, and you have to be.
we would
You have to be your own fan.
I have it. I would date me. I would be in a friendship with me. I would trust me with my babies. And that is not stuff I could say about myself years ago. And I remember when I was in early sobriety and I was like, would I be my own friend? And I remember thinking, I don't think I would.
Oh,
And that was early, early sobriety, like in
yeah.
reflection of where I had been. And then I was like, would I date myself? And I was like, oh God. So now I'm like, oh man, I would love to date me. We have
That's so
so much
wonderful.
fun. We have so much in common.
Well, I also think it's harder to make friends as we get older.
Force.
I think I read some statistics that the average adult hasn't made a new friend in 5 years, which means like when you lose one, it feels irreplaceable
Yeah,
because maybe statistically it is. And that when you do break up with a friend, it can trigger the same pain regions as a
sure.
romantic breakup,
Yeah.
sometimes more, I feel like.
I'd say I remember you being guarded. Are you still guarded now?
I'm still very guarded.
Yeah,
Um,
that tracks.
it does. Yes, it is hard for me to let people in, and I don't know that it always was that way. I do recall a moment in my life when I had a romantic relationship. We broke up. He broke up with me, and it destroyed me.
Mm,
I was inconsolable, like I couldn't eat. I was crying all the time. The only thing I could do was go to work because I had to maintain a certain professionalism, and I couldn't think about it. But anytime I was home alone, I couldn't be home alone. I had
Oh
to
my
be
God, yeah.
doing something all the time. And then we got back together. We broke up. We got back together and broke up 5 different times.
What year was this one? Was this?
This was in LA. And by the end of it, I was so over that romance and this person, and it completely destroyed me. I lost all trust for people.
Oh
I
yeah.
believed all of his bullshit. And that was the thing. I was always been too trusting. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. You want to trust people. You would think people would be more honest and straightforward. Why do we have to lie to each other? Why can't, we just be trusting?
Everybody's got their insecurities, and that's how we protect ourselves,
Yeah. So
Not
I've
me,
always
just
been
ourselves.
guarded. And it's very hard to break my shell. My current boyfriend, that poor lucky bastard, is
Poor, incredibly lucky bastard, for sure.
he puts up with so much shit.
Hey, that's the trade-off, man. To be with a bodacious babe like you, and can't come easy.
Oh my God. Well, when I'm in a good mood, it's good for him, but that's,
Yeah,
few and far between, unfortunately. I think that's just has a lot to do with my
you being a
current,
bitch.
me being a bitch,
You just being
my
a
current life, the state of me and my transformation of coming out of cancer and
well,
many
of
other
course, yeah.
things. But yeah. So back to friendships. When you see somebody that you've broken up with,
Mm.
do you acknowledge each other? I know we did, but it was very odd. So we had broken up and maybe 2-ish years had gone by.
Yes.
And I don't
Sorry, the cat she
Oh, is she
came in, I
here?
saw her little tail.
Oh, she's here.
Sorry.
She's like, I'm up from my morning nap. I want some nugs now.
Give me the nuts.
Give me the nugs. It's churu time. She loves these churus. It's churu o'clock around here. Yep, it is noon every day on the dot.
Churro o'clock.
Churu o'clock.
That's precious. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think lucky for you and me and my family, during that time, I had just given up and moved back to Northern Virginia. I knew I was going to die. So I was home for a year. So we didn't see each other, obviously, for that period of time. And
I
then
don't even think I knew that you had gone back
I didn't tell
home.
anybody. I
Yeah.
was both times that I've done that, I'm just like, and I'm gone.
And so what brought you back out to LA?
Well, I had gone to a party in Malibu after I'd moved back to Virginia to kind of see all my friends again, who a lot of them I knew from college. So we'd been friends for a long time. And I wanted them to see I was okay and I was doing better. I met and fell in love with a fella. And then the next day,
One fella?
yeah, Mike, yeah. And
Yeah.
the next day after we had romanced, it was pretty beautiful. I would never believe when people are like, we fell in love in one night. I was hook, line, and sinker. And the next day when we were parting ways, he was like, I just want you to know, I'm not going to be seeing anybody else. And I was like,
Oh.
dang. I kind of didn't believe it really at first, but yeah, we spoke on the phone for like 8 hours a day. And then I went back out. So anyhow, I was back out in LA in about 8-9 months after him and I met. He'd been trying to get me to come back out. And, my instincts were like, this is probably bad. And I had been put on a medication by my psychiatrist and my therapist that tends to make you pretty productive in the beginning. And so I was taking care of business. And so it kind of started my next, experience in LA. But so yeah, that's why I came back out, is because I fell in love with a boy.
And so I think that's when we bumped into each other at,
Yes.
what was it, like a Hobby Lobby or Michael's?
In Santa Monica.
Yeah, we were both in the
line.
Yeah, we were in the checkout line. And did you acknowledge me, or did I see you?
I acknowledged you. I was like, oh my God. And I was so stoked to see you. And we were like, oh my God, did we cry? We might have teared up.
We may have teared up.
And then I remember because you were in a new space and you had your own place and you loved it. And so I think you had me over. But yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of picked up where we left off.
Yeah, I had just, that's right. Was that my Los Feliz apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just moved in there. I was making a name for myself in the production world, moving my way up the ladder. And then our friendship didn't pick up where it left off.
We weren't able to see
that
each other
close
No.
anymore.
But I remember you met Mike. I think we all met at a bar at some point. And I think, again, I think about a year after you and I reconnected, I was on a plane back to back to Northern Virginia. I'd set my life on fire again. Because when
What
Mike and I
happened?
went to break up, I called you and I stayed with you for 2 nights and I was hammered the whole time, barfed all over your bathroom.
I remember
And
that. I remember yeah, go ahead.
then you had packed up my stuff, put it by the door, and you were like, "Bye. You have to
Well,
go."
I remember when you showed up at my house, I don't know what day of the week or anything it was.
It was like a Tuesday.
Yeah, it could have been a Tuesday. It was early in the morning and you
Mhm,
showed up and I was like, let's go for a walk around Silver Lake. And so we
mhm.
did. And you
Yep.
just reeked of vodka.
Mhm.
And then we came home and I said, all right, you can stay here, but you can't drink.
Mm.
And you're like, great, I don't have anything on me.
Didn't we go to Trader Joe's then?
We went to Trader Joe's, got whatever. And then I think we hung out for that day. And then was I dating somebody? Anyways, I think I had left or maybe it was in the middle of the night. You had gone and gotten some booze.
Oh boy.
Because that's when you barfed all over like literally all over the bathroom. And I went in the next morning and it's like on the walls, around the toilet, on the floor. And I was like, motherfucker.
Just can't even believe that I would do such a thing. I remember it. I know I did it. Like, it's just like, wow.
I know I think I had to go to work or I was leaving and I wrote you a note or I forget how it happened. And I was like, Courtney, please clean up the bathroom.
Yes.
And then I want you out of here because
Yeah.
you didn't live up to your end of the bargain. And that was it. And then you went home and you stayed
right.
home
Yep.
after that time. You got
Yeah.
into
I went into
rehab.
the rehab and yeah.
I think I had tried to touch base with your family.
You did. You reached out to somebody or you reached out to me and you said, I know you're in Virginia. And I was like, can't prove a thing. I was like, I'm not anywhere. I no longer exist.
Yeah. You had been on my mind all the time for years. And
Mhm.
I had tried to reconnect with you and find out how you were doing in rehab. And I understood that when someone's in rehab and going through all of that they don't necessarily want to talk to everybody. I understand that now after going through my own recovery that, you're coming out of something very dark. It's hard for you. You can't go back to the life you once had. But anyway, I knew that I always wanted to be friends with you. There was a connection between us and the universe had put us together so many times. For whatever reason that was, maybe it led us here today, but I'm not sure.
Of course. Yeah.
Anyways, did you ever think during any of your friendship breakups, and I know I've had a few in my life as well, that what if I had just apologized or during those conversations you have with yourself in the shower
Mm.
that
Yeah.
you're like, and I won the argument because she's a total bitch and I can't fucking believe she did that and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of the relationships that I've lost over the years naturally moved on their merry way. And I think because I was a Navy brat and we moved around so much,
Yeah,
I
right.
found a lot, I was able to set friendships free, like,
Yeah.
which is a little cold, I think. I don't know if that's a great thing.
No, I think a lot of them run their course. And, especially as we're adults and move into adulthood, I don't know if I ever will, but
You won't.
good thing. I think I read that friendships take around 7 years and then they, you'll stay friends or it'll just kind of fizzle out naturally on its own. And
Yeah.
there's not necessarily like a hard breakup, but we do. And maybe that is like the 7-year cycle that I've read or heard that every 7 years, you kind of become a new person.
Yeah, I like that.
So maybe this person came into your life for a reason. You were different before them. They have changed you a little bit. You've grown. And then, you both have served your purposes in each other's lives
Yeah.
and you go your own way.
And be at peace. Well, so now I have my apartment here, but I
Uh-huh.
also am living full time with my man and the gang. And for all of my time in Southwest Virginia with all of my family, my sisters in this town and everything, I always made it pretty easy on everybody because I go to them. I've always just gone to everybody wherever they are. I'll come to their house. I come to their, So now I'm not able to do that because my life has changed and shifted and my focus is different. And so I'm feeling it, with a lot of my friendships because
Does that hurt? Now that you have this, you were kind of thrust into this existing huge family.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say you were thrust in, but
Something was trusted.
there was some thrusting going on.
Gross. I just tried to be like, ooh, ooh, yuck.
Yuck. I'm so sorry. See, I'm forever a child.
No, and me, that's why the friendship endures. We endure.
I will never grow up.
Yeah, me
That's maybe a
too.
good thing.
It's absolutely a good thing. But yeah, so
But
it's
yeah,
been
are you sad like you don't quite have the strong friendships that maybe you did, or it's just evolving into something else and now this family, your boyfriend, your fiance's family has
yeah.
become, and that's what happens is
Mhm. And
when
it's
she
crazy because for so long, like, I did not want this, this was not the plan for me,
yeah.
and so, there's been a lot of adjusting, after he proposed to me, I had to kind of sit and process that for months, which he loved, but I have my women in recovery, they're like my steadfast ladies, then I have ladies from my aerobics business, and then, yeah, people. What's that?
Your high kicks
Oh,
business,
big time. Splits, just running and splitting. That's all we do to music.
your
Um,
leotard ladies.
yeah. Who does Yes. But yeah, so people are, a little bit like, "We don't see you anymore." And I was like, "Well, because I don't drive over to your house and come into your house." That was what I did. And so you teach people how to be your friend and not that no fault to them, like I just was mobile. I had a lifestyle that I really enjoyed, that I had my dog and we could do what we wanted. I could travel as much as I wanted. Like, ain't
Yeah.
nobody telling me when to go to bed. Ain't nobody telling me I can't eat gummy bears in the bed. Ain't nobody telling me what to eat. Anyway, so the friendships are, they are evolving, but it's okay. It's good. The one with my sister, that's been the hardest because if we don't make a really focused effort to see each other, months will go by and we'll be like, "Are you mad at me?" And we're like, "No, we're just so busy." So for my bachelorette party, I told my sister, all I want is me and you to go to King's Dominion and ride roller coasters
What's
for an
King's
entire day.
Dominion?
Oh, it's like Six Flags
Oh,
roller
fun.
coasters and stuff. So we just went, oh my gosh. And then we went, rode the roller coasters, and we were staying in a hotel together that night. So we got to be alone in our beds and no one was trying to have sex with us. And we got to just look at TikTok and laugh.
No one is trying to have sex with us.
Nobody's trying to, and I say that like for years, nobody was trying to have sex with me. And I was sad about it. And now I think back to those days and I'm like, oh my God.
I
My
miss those
vagina's like,
days.
was there such a thing? Was there such a time? That's her little voice. Bless her little heart. She's always
Your
shaking.
vagina sounds like an old woman.
She's so delicate now. Is it time again?
Where's my moisturizer?
I was literally in character as my vagina. Like your footsteps. Does he approach? All right, I already got my idea for my next one-person show where I play my vagina.
Amazing.
Anyhow, sorry.
I
I took
am
this
Courtney
all over.
Holland, and this is my vagina.
Is it time again?
Better dust her off.
The flowers come early this year.
Oh, God. To circle back to our story, we had maybe once a year, every few times a year, sent each other some Instagram memes or maybe a
Yeah.
text here and there. And
Oh,
then it
yeah.
wasn't until I was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And I let everybody under the sun know that I
Which
had
is what
cancer.
is so admirable, and that is what should be done. That's what I mean, people that don't reach out and just like, "Hey, help, help." Like that is
I did it for help. I needed the support in
Mm.
any way that it could show up, whether that was, a text, a phone call, flowers, somebody just to come over and mow my lawn, all kinds of support. I was living alone and I had been this strong, independent woman. And then all of a sudden I had this huge thing in my life. I didn't have
Yeah.
my blood family nearby, just my chosen family out
Mhm.
here. But they all had, full-time jobs, their own families, all of that. So when I reached out and I, cast the wide net to all of my friends, I literally went through my contact list and my emails and was like, this, just put it out there. Like, announcement, I've got cancer.
Which actually
And
for you to do, I'm very proud of you because that is a very hard thing to do, especially if you're guarded. So I think that
oh, it
that's
was
one of the biggest
It took 2 friends up here to be like, "Emily, you need to put this out there."
Good.
And I took my
What are their names? What are the two that did that?
it was Sarah Beth and Lisa.
Yes, Sarah Beth and Lisa.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
big time.
Yes, I am very guarded. I finally took my Instagram off private. I let it go public.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so
Those
that
cat
people
videos now.
I could kind of post my cancer journey for my friends to see. And then,
Yes.
a few years after, or I think recently within this past year, I put it back to private. But I might open that up if for this podcast.
I tell you, I keep mine open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe
Mainly
I'll do
when I
that.
would date men that had children, I wanted their exes or whoever the mama was to be able to look at me and see, I was
So that's
not a bad person.
So that brings me to another question. When you break up with a friend, do you stalk them like you would a romantic person? Do you Google them and stuff?
Oh, for sure. Some of them. Some I just am not
And what
curious.
goes through your head? Are you like, what's that bitch up to?
Certainly, I mean, absolutely. There's been plenty of times where the people that I feel burned by or whatever. But I honestly haven't felt very burned by people except for that one friendship, like in especially the recovery community. Everybody's working on themselves.
Yeah.
Whether it's successful or not, they are all working on themselves. And yeah, I love to go down that fire hole, the rabbit hole. And it's fun to just see where people are at.
Do you, as time goes on, do you feel any animosity towards that person, or you kind of, and it's the same with romantic breakups where, at first you probably hate that person, and then over time you forget the hurt and the bad that once happened, and you start to be like, I wonder what it would have been like if we had been together. Should I reach out? And no, you can't. But
there are a few actually that I feel sad about because I'm just like, I'm not real sure what went wrong. But I also am really good at just letting things go.
That's good.
The Language of Letting Go is a great book.
The Language of Letting Go.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's
That's
a
good.
codependency book. It's for people like Al-Anon is a support group for people that have family members that are alcoholics or drug addicts. And I just think anyone will benefit from learning how to let something go.
It's true.
We ruminate and sometimes it's an addiction itself to just hyper focus on someone else's shortcomings and how can I help?
So after I cast that big net, I did have some people that I had hoped to hear from that did not reach out.
Yeah.
So that bridge apparently was burned, probably because of something I did. I don't know. Maybe not. Or who knows? Maybe they didn't get the alert, but I'm sure they did. But then other people, such as yourself, we started talking more frequently again. And then you had said, well, if you need anything at all. And I said, well, would you want to come out? And at this point, I don't think we had actually seen each other in person in 10 years.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah. So you jumped on an airplane and came out for about 15
fair, you paid for that flight. I would have been able to swing it, but that was incredibly
I used miles.
Of you. Yeah, well, still.
But yeah, it was one of those where, again, it came back to, I've always felt strongly toward you that there is a connection that we have. Absolutely. And I thought every day was getting a little darker and darker for me. And you were the one person that I had always felt I could be myself around, my true self. And I didn't have to hold back, and we can joke. You can make fun of this horrible situation I'm in, and we sure did. I've got some good videos.
I know.
Of you drying your hair, and I'm faux crying on the couch, and you're like, watch. And I'm like, I don't have any hair.
Oh God. I remember I asked you, I was like, is this insane that I'm doing this? Because it's so hot in the room. I had to do
the hallway. And then I was like, I'm going to.
The responsibility of that coming across is a complete.
And then you looked at me and you're like, are you videoing this? And I'm like, I am.
And people are like, I hope she dies. No, they never.
There were a few people that were
about me.
That honestly looked at that video and they were like, Jesus, who's your horrible friend? And then other people that understood that it was funny.
Because we had a laugh. We talked about it before I started.
Oh, yeah.
But in retrospect, I'm like, did I need to dry my hair? Was that necessary?
Showing off your long, dark locks right in front of my bald ass.
Good Lord. And I am like, oh, I'm so emotionally intelligent. No, ma'am. What the heck are you doing?
Uh,
Why
but
did you have
anyways, I
sugar?
wanted you to come back into my life. Like, I needed your sense of humor, and I just needed you. So yes, I was happy to,
Likewise.
give you the miles to come on out for a couple weeks because I knew that it was hard for you to, take off work, even though you were fortunate to be able to work remotely.
So
So
it really
yeah,
was
it
it was nothing but a pleasure and an
good,
honor.
good.
I was extremely honored that you would want me there. And I mean, I knew, I'm like, if I get out there, man, we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah,
We're gonna
I
have a
think we
great time.
did for the
Blow
most
dry my
part.
hair in front of her all day, every day. Just keep
Yeah.
her humble. Um, get off your high cancer horse.
Yeah. Let go of that ego.
Right. Oh gosh. I shaved your head and I had the most magical experience when we were swimming in the sound and
That's
that
right.
magical seal moment where I it to this day, when I tell people it brings tears to my eyes. I'm like, it was the coolest. It
You
was
had a
so incredible.
seal.
Oh, and
Well,
he was like, "The fuck are you doing in here, lady?" And I'm like, "Ah!" And then he disappeared and I'm like, I was so scared. I mean, it was such a wonderful, terrifying moment. You wouldn't think to be scared of a seal, but like when it's just you and the seal, and you guys, I could see you guys, and you were like, "Yeah!" And I was like, "What do I do?" And they're like, "He's probably gonna come up to you." And I'm like, "Ah!"
Yeah, they're very curious little
Oh,
creatures.
that was
They're
so cool.
adorable.
But to be able to be there, of service to you during such a massive fucking life exploder.
Yeah,
And to be able to, you're still Emily, you're still a frickin' hoot. You don't take yourself too seriously. And I also saw the struggle of it, like, the
yeah,
reality
yeah.
of what that was like for you. Oh,
So I'm so grateful that we did run into each other in Michael's
me too.
because had we
You love
not,
Michael?
I don't think we'd be sitting here right now.
Oh, absolutely not.
Honestly, there's just no way that we would have ever really spoken again. I think it would have turned into one of those, I wonder what she's up to these
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you and I would have reached out via Instagram and given each other funny video. I feel like I would have reached out eventually, just
Okay.
with something funny, maybe.
You know what was really special to me is when you showed up at my house when I was going through cancer, and I think it was like the first thing you did is you said, I need to say something to you." And you apologized.
Yeah, I gave
And
amends.
yes, and you're like,
That's
"I need to
right.
do this because it's part of my step program." And as much as I wanted to say, "Please, you do not have to apologize for anything because it's 50% on me. It wasn't just you."
There's more
It
me.
did mean a lot,
Oh,
but
good.
yeah.
It's a blessing I've been able to continue to give those to people like Elijah. I gave amends to him years and years later. Caroline and Ben, you remember Caroline and
Yep,
Ben? I
yep.
went and saw them and visited them in Ohio, met their amazing sons, made amends to them. So it's yeah,
Is it like a weight lifted when you do that?
it's not because I feel like I've forgiven myself
Okay.
but I want it to be clear that I recognize, I'm aware, and take responsibility for the unsafe and poor choices and the way it affected you in your life. So
So now let me ask you, are there people in your life that you haven't made amends to because A, they are just not in your life anymore and you don't feel the need to reach out to them? Or do you silently do that on your own, kind of just make amends to them through the universe and not actually physically call them or touch base?
yeah, there's definitely a few that, they say make amends to wherever possible, except when to hurt them or others.
Okay.
And I feel like, because I heard a comedian talk about how annoyed he was that someone made amends to him. He was like, "So I'm supposed to say, congratulations for doing the right thing. Meanwhile, I've been doing the right thing the whole time." No,
Jesus.
and it really made sense. I was like, "You got a point." So I'm not trying to bring, drama into another person's life, but there are certainly people that I just have to decide that I'm making a living amends to them.
Okay.
So
All right.
Bank of America, it's hard to make an amends to anyone specific there. So not that I didn't rob a bank, but I was irresponsible with my savings account. But yeah, so this is a really cool part of recovery too. Just be able to make it about me all the time. I come to visit you while you're suffering from cancer, and I'm like, "Let's talk about me, though. First, let me dry my hair."
Let me show you how much
I'm
hair I
such a
have.
good person. I would definitely be my friend.
I would definitely
Yeah.
wanna date me.
Oh my god, I would totally date me. Oh, man.
Well, is there anything else you wanna say? Touch on for this subject?
I think this is a wonderful topic, and I think that you've had some really good stuff to share in regards to, like, the painful part. Like, I feel like I have, in my life, been able to really gently shut the door on a lotta
Yeah.
friendships, and, it can be
Yeah.
very, very difficult, but
Yeah, I was devastated when we broke up.
yeah.
Yeah, it affected me a lot, and it took a couple years, I think, for me to come out of that, but
Yeah.
I worked on it, and I had
No
just,
wonder you're guarded.
everybody hurts me. I've done nothing wrong.
It's crazy. Why are people so mean to you?
Why does everyone I meet just leave?
And what is this asshole cancer I keep hearing about? What a bastard.
I would be interested to hear from our listeners to share your own
Oh, yeah.
breakup and
Oh,
loss story. How did that happen for
mm.
you guys? Because, um, yeah, I would love to read through some of these. We could even read them on air when
Ooh,
we
yeah.
do some smaller episodes. And now that we have an email address, that is that wasn't the plan pod at gmail.com. So that wasn't the plan pod at
Mhm.
gmail.com. It'd be
Love it.
nice. It'd be nice to
Yeah,
hear from people.
for
And
sure.
just because that wasn't the plan doesn't mean it wasn't supposed to happen.
Absolutely. Everything that's meant to happen does.
Right? Yeah. Well, I guess on that note, it was good talking to you until
Talking to
next
you.
week.
Until next week, my dear.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.